this is Calabooks from Think Future. So I just finished reading The War of Art by Steven Pressfield. It's a really great book, especially if you're an artist or a creator in any way, shape, or form, a writer, a musician, anybody who creates anything. And I find it interesting that when I talk about creating things, creating art, creating writing, creating books, creating anything, a lot of people say that they're not very creative. They're not very creative at all. And I beg to differ. I believe that every human being is extremely creative. Extremely creative. I mean, if you think about it, like the moment you're born, you're creating all sorts of interesting things. When you're a kid, you used to do artwork. All human beings have the ability to be creative. They just don't allow themselves to be creative. They don't allow themselves to be creative. And that's one of the things that we do in our ideation sessions, is that we try to pull out the inner creativity in most people, because everyone is a creator. Now, I remember one time I was at one company and I showed him how Word does file create, and he goes, "Oh no, human beings can't create. That's only God. Only God can create." But I disagree with that. I think human beings are the master creators in at least the universe that we know. And if we decide not to create, then that's really unfortunate. In fact, I wrote a blog post a little while back talking about creation as opposed to consumption. And I think that might be a malaise that we all have right now. We are all spending too much time consuming and not enough time creating, right? We are reading, we are watching, we are playing things that other people have created for us, but we are not creating anything of our own. And the thing is that we all have this amazing ability, because of this huge, incredible human brain that we have, to create new things. And that's one of the things I loved about the promise of the internet, was that we'd be able to use these tools to create new things and put them out in the world. So when you create a blog, when you create a post, when you create a picture, when you post it out there on the internet, when you're creating something and sharing it with the rest of the world, I think that's where the promise of humanity lies, in leveraging our creative ability to create more content that can be out there in amongst the world. Now, the problem, of course, is that the internet used to be like that. It used to be in a situation where everybody could see everybody else's stuff. And now, unfortunately, what happened is that we have these portals that are in between us and the content. Places like Google, Facebook, etc. These are the places that we tend to go to first before we go anywhere else. And if Facebook, Google, etc. don't want you to see that content at the other end, then it doesn't exist for the people who are out there. So that's why I say to you, if you're a startup founder, if you're thinking about building a startup, I think one of the most important things we can do is work back towards making the internet person to person again. I think the biggest power of the internet is the ability to connect every human being on the planet with every other human being on the planet. And the creations of every human being on the planet can be connected to every other human being on the planet. And if we can get back to that, if we can get to the point where we can easily connect all humans with all other humans without having these barriers in the way, then I think you'll see that the human race will be much better off.